All right, I'm going to try to get through this again. This is like the fourth or fifth time I've tried to record this, and it's kind of hard to do. It's really, really personal. Really personal. And why not share that with you? You want to know why I do this? You want to know why? My neighbor, back at the end of June, freaked out. Went to a park, blew his brains out. Lost his job, was getting thrown out of his apartment, was going to lose everything he had, and was going to be on the streets and black in one of the racist states in the union. So, yeah, that was his option. That was his choice, right? Because we all have choices. So, not having a job is hard. Not knowing if you're going to get thrown out of your house and lose all the stuff that you have. You don't have food. You're wondering how you're going to get food. And if you have a family, that's multiplied by how many times? It's not just added on, it's multiplied when you have kids. That's getting at people. That's that the despair of that and the uncertainty is costing people their lives. It's not just COVID that's killing people. You got 210,000 people, plus my neighbor, plus whoever else's family member or friend hasn't made it through this. And there's going to be more. There's going to be much more because the resources that we don't have access to, the people who have keys to the resources that can actually do some meaningful help, are at our Capitol going back and forth over a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. So if you can't agree on this should be in the bill, that should be in the bill, this shouldn't, that shouldn't, if you can't agree on that, then don't put it in there. I wanted to put the F word in there. That's what I wanted to put in there, is the F word, a giant F word. All you have to put in there is just send people money. Send them a check that's going to actually do something. The $1,200 that people got, they could have made twice that collecting cans. How meaningful is that if that's all you're getting after months and months and months? I'm still waiting on my unemployment. I'm still waiting on unemployment. And I didn't quit because of COVID. I quit because of legitimate employment reasons that would have been there whether COVID was around or not. And I'm still waiting to talk to an adjudicator, and that was way back in April. Fortunately for me, I can sell art, but that just dried up. And thank God I got a job now. But a lot of people, I'm actually taking somebody's job because I can do it better. That's what we're going to have now. That's the job market we have left. A dog eat dog. You're going to have the most highly skilled workers there are getting paid chicken scratch. So this is the shape we're in. This is the reality. You know it. I know it. My neighbor's ghost knows it. Everybody knows it. Except for...
really need the money right now, and even members of
I
your own,
understand that, but
but even members of your own caucus, even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. But let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat, and he just said this. He said, "People in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal, put the ball in McConnell court." So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist.
Let's not answer the question. That's the first thing we're going to do, is not answer the question. You know, you're hired to do a job, and then when your bosses ask you a question, because the question Wolf's asking, that's a question that anybody asks. I'm asking it, you're asking it, my neighbor's ghost is asking it. So why Nancy Pelosi won't answer the question? I would get fired for a job if my boss asked me a question that was job related and I gave him the runaround. I scolded him and treated him like a child, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Would I still have a job? This is what she's doing to all of her constituents. So I hope the people out there living in tents in California have a good Wi-Fi connection on your Obama phone, because that's the only way you're going to see this cow stab you right in the back. So here we go.
Apologist for the Republican position. Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now.
Of course you do. You want it now. You know when I wanted it? Back when it would have actually done some good. Back before my neighbor blew his brains out. That's when I wanted it. So you want it now? 210,000 people are dead, plus my neighbor, plus anybody else that's killed themselves because they can't take this crap anymore.
People need help now, but it's...
Yeah, people need help now. I could have made twice as much collecting cans as what the government gave out to help us. For how long? Months and months. That's supposed to help. That did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. At this point, that did nothing. All it did was prolong the inevitable for a lot of people. It did nothing. It just drug out the pain.
Just giving them a false thing just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail, that we should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table, to enhance benefits, that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local, that they...
Oh, here, well, let's add on all of this extra stuff and extra stuff and extra stuff. You know, you had me at not starve, not get thrown out of your home. You had me there. You could just drop off all of the extra stuff that you're getting all caught up in, that you're blaming the other side for, and then they've got extra stuff they're all caught up in that they're blaming your side for. So it's just both sides blaming back and forth, and the American people are like, who do I blame? You blame both sides. You blame absolutely both sides are to blame. They're equally to blame. They're equally abominable. They're equally fiendish. They're equally abdicating and not care. Where's Chuck Schumer? Anybody know where the hell Chuck Schumer is? Anybody seen him? Yeah, there's Chuck Schumer. Mitch McConnell. Anybody?
We're talking about the consequences of a pandemic, the symptoms of a problem that the president refuses to address.
But you know,
and that is...
It's a symptom of a sick government filled with sick people who need to be put out of their misery just so the rest of us can limp on with something of a future for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. If you were dumb enough to have children and bring them into this crap.
That is the coronavirus.
We know
that is
we
the
know
coronavirus.
the problem out there.
Yeah, it's the coronavirus. We've got something that we can blame all of our problems on. The coronavirus. It's a very tangible microorganism no one's seen with their own eyes. We can blame that for our problems. We don't have to blame our abdicating leaders that smile at us and tell us that they're thinking of us. They want us to have what we need. Okay, well, you can tell us that all day, all week, all month, all year, forever. You're going to be telling it to dust and bones and cobwebs and tumbleweeds, because no one's going to be left.
But there are millions of Americans who have lost their jobs. They can't pay the rent. Their kids need the food.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to get done.
$1.8 trillion, and the president just tweeted, stimulus, go big or go home. He wants even more right now. So why not work out a deal with him, and don't let the perfect, as they say here in Washington, be the enemy of the good.
Well, I will not let the wrong be the enemy of the right.
What's wrong?
What the fudge does that mean? Get the hell out of here. Oh my God. And she thinks she's so clever too. That's what makes me want to have a shit hemorrhage.
Wrong with $1.8 trillion.
Well, you know what? Do you have any idea what the difference is between the spending that they have in their bill and that we have in our bill?
You obviously don't know the difference between somebody who will do the job they're hired to do and somebody who just pretends to care and do it and somehow miraculously keeps their job and gets a pat on the back and gets to do it again.
Do you realize that they have come back and said all these things for child tax credits and earned income tax credits or helping people who have lost their jobs are eliminated in their bill? Do you realize they pay no respect to the fact that...
Do you realize none of that shit matters if people are dead? Do you realize if they don't have a home, if they don't have food to eat, if they don't have that, at least, it's not going to matter if they have a job later on. You got to keep people in their homes. You got to keep them. People have got to have food. They've got to live.
It's very important for people whose children cannot go to school because they're doing remote learning, and yet they minimize the need for child care, which is the threshold with which people, mothers and fathers, can go to work if they have that. Do you have any idea of how
that's precisely why, Madam
short they're concerned?
That's why it's so important right now. Yesterday I spoke to Andrew Yang, who says the same thing. It's not everything you want,
but you know what?
There's a lot there.
Honest to God, you really, I can't get over it, because Andrew Yang, he's lovely. Ro Khanna, he's lovely.
Tell us what you really think. Just keep it real. There ain't shit anybody can do about it anyway. Just tell us. Just straight talk. Tell us, use the real world. Use the words that you use while you're sipping gin with your buddies on Capitol Hill. Talk to us that way. Grab your balls, spit some chew, and just let us have it.
This situation. They have no idea of the particulars. They have no idea of what the language is here. I didn't come over here to...
Can you imagine that she gets nothing done on Capitol Hill with that attitude? Can you imagine negotiating with her? I wouldn't give her a damn thing either. I don't know that I would light the American people all on fire just to, cut off her nose. But, yeah, it seems like that's what's going on. I can't imagine anybody at Capitol Hill likes Nancy Pelosi. Even her own colleagues are probably like, yeah, not so much.
So you're the apologist for the Obama, excuse me, God forbid.
And there we go, right there. If that wasn't a gaffe, I don't know what was. She wasn't thinking. That shot of gin before she did this interview must have kicked in right here at the end. Oh, my God. Do we need to go on with this?
Speaker, I'm not an apologist. I'm asking you serious questions because so many people are in desperate need right now. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
When was the last time...
Let me respond to you.
Let me ask you, when was the last time, Madam Speaker, when was the last time you spoke with the President about this?
I don't speak to the President. Speak
Why
with
not?
his representative.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Oh. Okay, do it with me. I know you need to. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Breathe. We're going to try to go back to Zen. We're going to squash everything down. We're going to put it in a nice basket. We're going to wrap that up. Lock it down. We're not going to think about it because we're going to open a effing vein. We can get through this.
Why not call him and say, Mr. President, let's work out a deal. It's not going to be everything you want, not going to be everything I want, but there are so many Americans right now who are in desperate need. Let's make a deal.
What makes me amused, if it weren't so sad?
Oh, just acknowledge. Just acknowledge that so many people are in desperate need. Acknowledge it. You know what she's going to acknowledge? That Wolf Blitzer and the people in desperate need don't know about the people in desperate need. Here we go.
Is how you all think that you know more about the suffering of the American people than those of us who are elected by them to represent them at that table.
Okay, there for a second I was afraid that she didn't know what her job was. So it appears that she does know that she is elected by people and that she's supposed to represent them, right? We have that on record. So it's not incompetency. She knows her job, basically, and she's not doing it fundamentally, and it's on purpose because she's a cow. This is what we have. My neighbor's ghost, I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you. I wanted to make the world a better place, and this is what we're up against. I'd like to thank Mike Figuerego from the Humanist Report because he posted this and I was able to see it. I kind of avoid CNN and Fox News and all those other guys because they're basically full of crap. And the people that they have on there are full of crap. It's the same full of crap stuff that I stopped listening to decades ago, like in the 90s. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. This is all crap. It's all garbage. It's all designed to make you feel a certain way in order to get people to do a certain thing that's not in their best interest. So I gave that up. And for all the good it's done me, I mean, it has helped me out in ways that you guys would really be amazed. And if I had the time to tell you about it, I would. But people they just don't have the resources that I have to be able to cope with this. And that's what's really scary now. I don't want to lose any more friends. I don't want to lose anybody else. I don't want to lose them from COVID. I don't want to lose them from despair. I don't want to lose them because they are in the streets. This is very real, Nancy Pelosi. So take your time. Tell us how you want it now. Tell us about it now, okay? Would you please? Holy cow, I can't wait till people tell you in November they're sick of your shit. It's the broken news.